I'm Ryan Kacenjar. I'm the chef de cuisine at Fast Food Francais in Sausalito, California. And today we're going to be making comfort food, a classic dish, macaroni and cheese and our spin on it. So to begin, what we do, we get our pan started and we're going to get a little bit of butter in there. To this butter, we're going to add some sweet Vidalia onion. So a little southern flavor coming out of Vidalia, Georgia. Now we want to soften these onions kind of slowly, and in the meantime we're going to be making the topping. So we're going to make Italian style piccata. To get the piccata going, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a little bit of salt and a clove of garlic in the mortar. And you want to mash that up so that it's really, really nice and smooth. We're going to get it to a nice, smooth paste. All right, so now that you see that it's just basically aligning on the mortar, then I'm going to add a little bit of these almonds that I've already toasted to a nice mocha color, and I'm going to break those up as well. There really is the best way to do this in the mortar and pestle. A good substitute, though, if you had to, was to just use a cutting board and you chop the almonds to about the same size that you want to cut that you have the breadcrumbs. So these breadcrumbs, these are basic panko breadcrumbs, and I do a little trick where I just put whole stems of thyme into the breadcrumbs before I toast it in the oven, and the essential oils from the thyme are released into the breadcrumbs, so you don't have to strip all the leaves off of the stem and chop it or anything like that. The flavor's already infused into the breadcrumbs right now. So I'm just going to spoon a little bit of these into here. So it's about an equal part of the breadcrumbs and the almonds together. And that gives it a really nice texture, a really nice flavor. You get that flavor from the raw garlic too, which is really delicious. And it helps to balance the really, really rich, flavor of the macaroni. So to that I'm going to add a little bit of parsley. And to this we are going to add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil just to coat it and give it a nice sheen. It also helps with a little bit of depth of flavor. So there you are. It's as easy as that. The piccata is ready. Now, back to our onions that are cooking away in the pan over here. We've got a really, really nice softened Vidalia onion here. Now we're going to add a little bit of garlic and still building that flavor for the macaroni. You just want to let the garlic cook until you start to get the aroma is a little bit less harsh. Oh man, that smells delicious. So now I'm going to add a little bit of heavy cream. And the idea is, once you get the feel for this, that you have just enough of the cream that it's going to cook down to a nice, clingy sauce consistency by the time this pasta is cooked all the way through, or by the time the pasta is all the way warmed up. So we're using orecchiette pasta, which I think is really nice because it'll hold little puddles of the cream and cheese mixture, and it's like a little surprise. Every few bites you get a nice little pocket of the sauce. So I really like it. It's my favorite noodle for macaroni and cheese. It's a little untraditional, but it's a nice spin, I think. So here we're going to turn up the heat and we're just going to let this reduce for a bit. So now we're going to add the cheese, and this is a nice cow's milk cheese. You want to find something that's a really nice melting cheese that'll melt into the sauce really well. I just cut it into cubes like this because, again, I kind of like the little inconsistencies. Like you may find a little bit of cheese that's just like oozy and melty still, while the majority of it is melted into the sauce. To me, that's really desirable. So I'm going to turn the heat down and just kind of let that pasta melt the cheese for a second. We have a vessel here that I've warmed up, a nice casserole. You want something that's going to be oven proof because for the next step, we have to go into the oven. So I'm just going to spoon a decent layer of this on top. And again, the raw garlic and the piccata and the almonds add a nice crunch. It kind of makes a really good balance for an old classic dish. then just briefly into the broiler to get everything toasted. So now that we've toasted the piccata really nicely and introduced it to the macaroni, we're ready to serve. So I've just prepared a little plate here with a small amount of salad, which is really nice, light addition to the dish. And this is our orecchiette mac and cheese with almond piccata.